Hi, my name is Nali Wafula and you are listening to the Friday Fresh podcast. As you know, this is where to stay on top of all things African arts, culture, new music, biopics, performances. This Friday, we're going to talk about Kahuna, Every Brilliant Thing, Dave Chappelle, and so much more. So what are we listening to this week? This week, I am into a new Kenyan artist called Kahuna. Kahuna reached out to me like, hey, can you add me to your Afrinado K-Soul playlist? That's my playlist on Spotify and it's collaborative. So if you've had any nice Kenyan soul, Afroacoustic songs, you're free to add them onto the playlist as well. So he reached out and he said, hey, I have this song and I'd really like it to be on your playlist. And I was like, yeah, sure, I don't mind. And I like giving new artists a chance. I have a very soft spot for new Kenyan upcoming artists. So checked out his song, loved it, and now it's on the playlist. So make sure to check out Kahuna's song. It's called No Place Like Home. And when the song started, as soon as I heard the words Nusu Mkate, and yeah, it really will bring you back to home, especially if you're living in the diaspora or have lived in the diaspora. These are the sort of things you would miss. I think it would really speak to you and remind you of home. So this one is going out to all my overseas Kenyan listeners, and of course also my Kenyan listeners who are here, because Ushago is still home. Now let's get into what everyone was talking about last week.
Dave Chappelle is in Nairobi. Did you say Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle.
There was so much going on about Dave Chappelle's visit to Nairobi. It was hard to sift through and try to understand exactly how it happened and when it happened and who brought him and why the tickets sold out so fast. So back to the start. Dave Chappelle's event was announced all of a sudden out of the blue. See it on Instagram on Punchline Comedy. And within, let's say, a day, the tickets were sold out, much to the disappointment of Dave Chappelle fans in Nairobi. Dave Chappelle's performance was on the 29th, I think, and it was sold out, 200 tickets only, no videos, and he has a very strict no phone policy during his shows, and that's just for copyright issues and also for people just to be present and enjoy the performance. So we really didn't get to watch the performance on stories like we usually do, like when Boys to Men came and there were so many videos and you felt like you were there and you understood everything that happened, even the screen that got shut off during the performance and people were shouting. Anyway, let me get back to the story. So Dave Chappelle also visited Rwanda. The next day, he was in Rwanda performing and apparently promised to be back in Kenya this year. And it was really amazing to see how far Kenyan stand-up has come. For Dave Chappelle, the story is Dave Chappelle was in Dubai and decided on a whim to visit Nairobi. And he wanted to know, hey, what's a comedy scene in Nairobi? So he does a quick Google search and comes across Punchline Comedy, which is a comedy collective started by Eric Lusavali. It has some of my favorite comedians, Shaz Nderitu, Urumba, Jagdeep. Is it called Jagdeep? Okay, I'm messing up his name. Amandeep Jagde, and many more others. So he lands on this page, reaches out to them, and they quickly set up a show. And it was a success and everyone wished they were there, and the people who went are just walking around feeling very smug and it's annoying, but ni sawa tu. We'll still see Dave Chappelle in October when he comes. Hopefully this time they will share the tickets with everybody. You may have missed Dave Chappelle, but at least you can get to see Maverick City. So if you are a fan of contemporary gospel music, be sure to check out Maverick City and Kirk Franklin when they're in Nairobi in August. So the tickets are on sale currently online. It's called the Kingdom World Tour. All you have to do is go to the site and click Kingdom World Tour tickets for Nairobi, and the tickets are there. Now the weird thing about these tickets is there were also tickets that were on offer, which are like the tickets you buy before, like the very advanced tickets. So there were cheaper tickets. And what Kenyans have done is buy all the VIP tickets from the site. I don't know if these are promoters or just Kenyan fans, but all the VIP advanced tickets are gone, the ones on offer. There are still other advanced tickets, and these are not on offer, these are on full price. So there's still general admission, I think general admission is $20, Then you have VIP tickets, which are about $70, and then you have meet and greet, which are $100. So if you don't know Maverick City are like one of the biggest gospel bands out right now. They're actually a gospel collective made up of producers, singers, songwriters based in Atlanta. And if you've heard the song Gyre, you know what I'm talking about. They will be coming with Kirk Franklin, anyone who doesn't know Kirk Franklin, if you think gospel music has gone too far. So basically, it's going to be a good night. So if you missed out on Dave Chappelle, you can catch Maverick City. How about that? So I'm going to leave a link on the tour dates and more info on anything you need to read about Maverick City. It will be linked down below, and you can read more about them on theafrinado.com. And now on to the theatre scene. Currently, the theatre scene in Nairobi is growing at an unprecedented rate. Like, to be honest, it's really amazing to see the kind of productions that are coming out of Nairobi and the performances people are getting into. And one such performance is Every Brilliant Thing, the play that scooped Best Storytelling Production and Best Male Solo Performance at last year's Kenya Theatre Awards. And the actor, Mugambi Nthiga, is also a producer. He's also a writer, he's a storyteller. Mugambi dedicated this performance to the late Charles Charlie Ouda. And Charles had actually won the same award the year before and dedicated it to Mugambi. So it was a nice nod to his fellow thespian and someone who has really brought a big change to the Kenyan acting and theatre industry. I have a great interview I've done with Mugambi. You can find it on afrinado.com, where he talks about his experience doing the play and everything that came with it and what this play means to him. So I think you can check it out and also hear clips of what people thought about the play.
So the one word that I would describe the show with, captivating.
At one point I was walking, another point I was jogging, another point I was running a marathon, another point I was sprinting, but all together worth it. Unexpectedly beautiful.
It was absolutely awesome.
Perfect. Brilliant. Epic.
Reflective. Very reflective.
Fantastic show.
Super califragilisticexpialidocious. That's what the show was. Google that if you don't know what that means.
So if the after show reviews are anything to go by, I bet you this show is probably going to win another award. Even if it doesn't win, I think it's such an important show because it's talking about mental health. It's really delving into things people feel uncomfortable about, and it's interactive. And I would advise anyone else to just, if you get a chance to watch the show, make sure that you do. Written by Duncan Macmillan and Johnny Donahue, this show follows a 7-year-old boy as he writes a list of brilliant things to show his mom that life is worth living. His mom is battling depression and suicide attempts. So it's a very heavy topic, but the way it's covered is very heartwarming, very uplifting, and that's not an easy thing to do. So I think this is a play that if you ever get a chance to watch it anywhere else in the world, even if it's not showing in Nairobi, make sure to do it. So what is the Afrinado Book Club reading this month? We are reading Disha Filial, who wrote The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. Let's begin with first how Kenyans are just obsessed with books about secrets. Secret lives of Baba Segi's wife, sex lives of African women, and other stories. But back to the book, it's an amazing book. It's a book of short stories, each focusing on different women who are grappling with different struggles. I would say probably grappling with sin a lot of the time, but there's also love, there's also longings, there's also romance. So it's not just a one-size-fits-all type of book that focuses on one area of church ladies' lives. Look out for a review on theafrinado.com. I'll also give a short recap once we have the book club meetup. And now let's find out what's happening across Africa. South Africa is facing a deadlock as ANC loses its 30-year majority in an election last week. So talks are currently underway between ANC and the other parties involved. And it's very interesting. We are waiting to see what's going to happen next because ANC has been a stalwart in South African politics. And unfortunate news for Kenyan marathon runner Ronex Kipruto, who's a 10K world record holder. He has been recently stripped and banned for doping, and now his record will pass on to Ethiopian runner Berihu Aregawi. You know, it's kind of disappointing when you read such stories because, come on, you're Kenyan, it's in the blood, you should be able to race, but also maybe the pressure was too much. Who knows? Meanwhile, in Nigeria, which has been facing an economic crisis, the main labor unions that have been striking have decided to call off their strikes for 1 week. The strikes actually led to the closure of the busiest airports and shutdown of the power grid. I'm just wondering how effective this was, because in somewhere like Lagos, for example, generators are a dime a dozen. I think the real issue that pushed the government to act and engage in talks was the shutting down of the airports. I think that's what Nigerians were like, I beg, sir, excuse me. On a lighter note, let's move on to what you should be watching this weekend. I'd like to recommend a Netflix show called How to Ruin Love. It's a South African drama. It's a series, short enough for you to binge and thoroughly entertaining and just popcorn for your brain. So if you're looking for something to watch this weekend, I recommend this. I wouldn't say highly because it depends on your taste, but for me, I think I really enjoyed it, and it's a permutation of How to Ruin Christmas. And if you enjoyed How to Ruin Christmas, I think you'll enjoy How to Ruin Love. And the acting was great, the clothes were amazing, and the comedic delivery was just what the doctor ordered. And also, I think I like picking up some Zulu and Xhosa words when I'm watching these shows, so I recommend it. This is it for the Friday Fresh podcast. I hope you have an amazing weekend ahead and that your week ahead is going to be better than this one that just ended. Make sure to subscribe, share, and check out afinado.com for more stories, reviews, and interviews. So until Friday after the next, he is wishing you a great weekend filled with rest, restoration, and rejuvenation. See you on the flip side. I'm your host, Nali Wafula. Bye.